Now, just 2 months before the elections in Bangladesh, the country is on the edge again. A youth leader's assassination has triggered widespread unrest. Now, Sharif Usman Hadi, the student leader who was involved in the 2024 uprising that ousted Sheikh Hasina, was shot last week. He was receiving medical treatment in Singapore before succumbing to his injuries on Thursday night. Now, according to the chief advisor's press wing, Hadi's funeral prayer will be held at 2 p.m. on Saturday at the South Plaza of the Parliament. Now, Hadi's body will be buried beside the grave of the national poet Qazi Nasrul Islam. The calm returned to several parts of the country. However, protesters continue to march in central Dhaka's Shahbag, carrying flags and also demanding justice for the slain leader. And shortly after Hadi's death, the situation in Bangladesh's capital spiraled. Protesters vandalized the partially demolished house of Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, and they were seen attempting to tear down the remaining portion of the house and setting fire to a poster of the ousted Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. This following a night of unrest. Several buildings in the capital, including those housing the country's 2 leading newspapers, were set on fire. The first attack came on Pratham Alo, where the crowd had gone chanting slogans. The crowd vandalized the office before setting it on fire at around 12 a.m. They then vandalized the ground and the first floors of Daily Star before putting it ablaze at about 12:30 a.m. The blaze quickly engulfed the 2 floors, sending a huge column of smoke into the air. Now, the fire service could not reach the building for some time because a crowd blocked their way. The entire night shift fled to the roof to save their lives, pleading for help through phone calls and also social media posts. The firefighters eventually reached the site and then brought the fire under control at about 2 a.m. However, the journalists could not be brought out immediately because the crowd stormed the building after the fire was extinguished. Now, the interim government in a statement has urged citizens to resist all forms of mob violence committed by who he referred to as the fringe elements. Now, the government has strongly condemned all acts of violence, intimidation, arson and the destruction of properties, pointing out that it is a critical moment in the country's history with elections planned. Now, the interim government under Mohammad Yunus, in a message to the citizens, has said that we cannot and must not allow it to be derailed by those, it said, thrive on chaos and reject peace. But over the past week of unrest, demonstrations and violence in Bangladesh have raised some serious questions on the interim government in power. That it appears that control is quietly slipping out of Yunus's hand, and the question, of course, is this: is there more chaos that is to be expected in the next few days? For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.